Hey guys, welcome back to Box. We're going to be talking about Williams today. So it's been an interesting weekend for them, you know, with Albon fucking it into a wall and then giving
Sounds like you're fucking it with his podcast.
I thought he was holding it together pretty well.
He's doing a gale for episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
He's broken. It's all gone downhill.
Yeah. Hello, dear.
I was going to carry on.
I don't think you can mug Josh off like that and then carry on.
That's what's so funny about it.
Right, in we go.
It's another outtake.
Oh, let's keep it in.
Okay.
Stop coughing in the mic, though.
We need to stop laughing. That's what the issue is.
Don't
Stop
think-
laughing, I won't cough.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, maybe not. Okay, Williams. So interesting weekend for them. We had Albon put it into the wall and then going cap in hand to Sargeant for his car, and James Vowles said yes, which was a bit of an odd one. So I don't know what your take on it was.
You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a given, really. I think if you look at points, I guess, for Sargeant and Albon, you're always going to choose Albon if you need someone in the top 10 for the race. I mean, obviously, evidently, maybe not, but generally, you would choose Albon over Sargeant. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that controversial. I think, yeah, a little bit unfair on Sargeant, but my opinion is he's lucky to be in F1 still. So,
Yeah.
I think if you look at it that way, not great for his development, I guess. Not another race under the belt, but yeah, you're always going to put Albon in the car if you've only got one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm with you. I think when you listen to some of the commentators, pundits and that talk about it, you know, Ted, I don't know if you saw Ted's interview with James Vowles, but Ted was pretty fuming.
really,
Yeah, he said, this is your responsibility as team principal. And James was like, yes, it is, Ted. You know, so Ted wasn't, I don't know if he was just playing kind of devil's advocate for Sky at the time, but when you listen to Martin Brundle was trackside when the idea came up that they might not have a spare chassis, and Martin Brundle was like, oh, there's not even a question. Like, Albon goes in the car and that's it. Obviously, turned out that it was actually pointless in the end. But the probability that James Vowles was talking about in terms of actually getting a point, you know, he had to go on a statistical basis, as James Vowles would, of course.
yeah, I think also if you look at, obviously Albon finished 11th, just outside the points, but realistically, would Logan Sargeant have done any better anyway? So yeah, okay, you're saying that you're giving Albon the car so that he gets points. He ended up not getting them, but Sargeant wouldn't have been any closer to getting the points. I don't think, personally, anyway. So yeah, I think the main question is, why did they not have a spare chassis?
Yeah, well,
in my view, but
it's quite insightful listening to James Vowles' interview on it. To be
is
fair,
it okay?
yeah, he was talking about, you know, the priority of things that were missing throughout the winter and the amount of stuff that they changed, and they had to make a decision. And when they went into Bahrain, you know, they were very close to having to fill the old car because there was so much that wasn't ready. So it was already kind of getting a bit close at that point. The other point that's quite interesting is the fact that the first two races, sorry, not the first two, Jeddah was, if you like, more, the chance of smashing the car to pieces was a lot higher in Jeddah, and the drivers knew they didn't have a spare chassis in Jeddah. So, you know, they were talking about on commentary and stuff about, you know, how much pressure the drivers must be feeling knowing that, especially in Jeddah. Mel was a bit better, parts of the track where there's run off and whatnot, but yeah, crazy. I mean, James Vowles admitted that this shouldn't, you know, it's unacceptable in modern Formula One for this to, you know, actually be the case. And looking as a a fan or any kind of spectator of the sport, it's pretty crazy. You wouldn't really see it across any sport. Because James Vowles did the first thing he had to do, and one of the first things that he had to do was let the sponsors know that they'd only be fielding one car. And
did he get a refund?
Yeah,
he did get a 50% refund for the weekend.
Yeah, my pro team be of one.
Yeah, it's
so crazy.
Yeah, I think I've got a slightly different take on it, and I think if Albon had actually got a point or two at the weekend, I think the decision would have been vindicated. In that, they made this call to get a point, but they didn't. So I really think James Vowles is probably going to come under quite a lot of pressure for it personally. I think if you look at it from like a human point of view, Logan Sargeant had more laps in the car over the weekend ahead of the race. So he had some qualifying simulation runs on the Friday. So he would have been in a better state to deliver a lap than Albon was. Okay, you got disparity between their skill level, but preparation wise, Sargeant would have been more prepared. And I think, what's the point of having him in the car if you're not going to put him in the car? If you don't have faith in him to do what he needs to do as a driver, then
why is he the second seat?
Find another driver that you're happy to give the car. From like a morale point of view as well, what does that do to Sargeant for the next few races where he knows that he knows he's number two anyway. Everyone I think would know that, but to know that they would take your car off of you when you didn't crash it because your teammate fucked it into a wall. Yeah, I don't know.
He's almost like he's a reserve driver in a second seat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it, actually.
Which, to be fair, we said that it's development for James Vowles, isn't it? Putting Logan Sargeant in that. He wants to stick with someone and watch them develop. So, yeah, when you've only got one car, can you afford to watch someone develop?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, I think because Albon didn't get the most out of the car on the weekend, on Sunday, I don't think it's really left Williams looking that fantastic overall, because they've come away from, they made a very difficult decision for the Sunday and still come away with nothing. I think the opportunity was there, but for whatever reason it wasn't taken, and he came 12th,
11th, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
or did he get taken
11th?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, he also, you had Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen, who also didn't finish. So 11th isn't actually 11th if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Hamilton probably would have been in the same position anyway, but
yeah.
with Verstappen and the two Mercedes,
that is an interesting point, because why change? James Vowles was saying the probability of getting 1 point or coming P10. Well, if every car finished, we're probably talking 14th, 15th. They must have known from practice that they weren't that competitive.
I mean, when did he say that? That was before the race.
That
was after.
What, as in why they've done it?
No, thinking that it was going to be unlikely to get a point.
No, he's saying that it was the probability of getting a point was high with Alex, which is why they've made the decision.
Okay. Right.
But he says that, but they must have known from looking at the data from practice and qualifying that they weren't even in the same ball game.
Yeah.
If they were looking at 14th, 15th on race pace, you say,
why not? Let him
just leave him in the car?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Just let the dice fall.
Yeah.
I know it's slightly different, but look at Verstappen and Perez. Yeah, okay, they get points every week, and if it was down to the constructors championship at the end, and you had Ferrari and Red Bull neck and neck, and you lost Verstappen's car because he crashed that weekend, are you going to take that car off Perez? I can't imagine so.
No.
You're not taking that off Perez and putting, Verstappen is a lot better in a skill level, but...
Yeah, but Red Bull seeing Perez as a
Yeah.
He's in the Red Bull seat for a reason.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they need to get rid of Sargeant purely just because that's their view on it. So
Yeah, I think it's quite clear from that decision what they think of Sargeant and where they put him not in a ranking way, but kind of what they think of him. And yeah, I mean, if you have a second driver, I don't see any other team taking that second driver out the car if the first driver crashes. I don't see any other team doing that.
No.
do you have that much of a skill level disparity though? In another
Aston Martin.
Mercedes at the moment.
Go on, you take Hamilton out of the car. If you mean Hamilton anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
which
do.
one you mean, to be fair. Is there a skill level difference? George might have been...
No, I'll just be... No, that's purely for comedic purposes, that comment.
Right, okay. I was going to say George might have been
yeah.
near the top, but he still didn't have the skill to keep on the track. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Wherever it was, we last corner.
Yeah, I think
Smashed it in
disparity
the wall
was
last season.
Aston Martin, I think, might be the other one.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
never
still-
going to happen there, is it?
But Stroll's still putting the times in
Yeah.
qualifying and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but the car under is much better than what Sargeant has at Williams.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I think Stroll is a better driver than Sargeant.
But
I think
that's
the
the closest
Yeah,
difference
yeah,
between
but I think Alonso's
first
better
and second
than
driver.
I think Alonso's better than Albon as well. So kind of, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, nuts.
Be interesting to see if he's still in the seat by the end of the season.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Because if they're going to make that decision that lightly as well, then
Did one of us
We'll see.
say that he wasn't in my list to get sacked because I didn't think that James Fowles would take that decision halfway through the
Yeah.
season, but he was in
he was in mine, I think.
yours. Was he in
Yeah.
yours?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but
Yeah.
I don't think James Fowles would make that call halfway through the season.
Mm.
I don't think it's a Williams or Vowles.
No, as I said, if
Kind
he
of
was if they didn't have faith in him, which they clearly don't,
Yeah,
by
Yeah.
by taking him out for Alex,
yeah,
they should have done it at the start of the season.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
in the winter rather than let him start.
Yeah, totally agree. But who goes into that seat though at Williams? Another development driver, another young driver,
Yeah,
someone
someone from the Mercedes driver program that
Yeah.
might be in America in 5 years.
yeah, Antonelli or someone that we've never heard of.
Yeah, because I don't see this for another podcast, but I don't see Antonelli going into the Merc. I see a Carlos Sainz or Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I agree. But we will see.
We will see.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. Well, that was our hot take on Williams and Sargent's. I don't know what we could call it.
It's bad luck.
It's
isn't
a bad weekend. It was a bad weekend for no fault of his own.
I mean, luckily, actually, he came out looking quite good
Yeah. You're not wrong. Actually, he's
because
probably
he contributed, and
Yeah.
James Fowles said after the race or after qualifying that his initial reaction was he was not happy,
yeah.
but then about an hour later he came back and he said, "What can I do?"
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Alex scored no points, and if we have all the cars in the race, he probably finished 15th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
he's probably
probably
thinking, "Well, he's done no better than I would have."
yeah, exactly. And from Sargent's point of view, he's probably like, well, this is like a win-win situation for me now that I'm not racing because I look great and I can't fuck it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, that's that. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for listening and watching, and see you soon.